Imagine for a second handing out your personal cell phone number to like hundreds of clients who are actively undergoing these deeply vulnerable physical transformations.
Right, which sounds terrifying for most people.
Honestly, yeah. Most business owners would look at that and just call it a recipe for a massive panic attack, or at least, a fast track to burnout.
Oh, absolutely.
But for one rapidly growing wellness franchise we're looking at today, that extreme level of accessibility is actually their ultimate competitive moat.
It really is. I mean, it completely flips the traditional script on business boundaries. We are so used to the idea that scaling a business means, well, building walls between the owner and the customer.
Right, creating that corporate distance.
Exactly. But here, tearing down that wall is the fundamental strategy for building a highly predictable, recurring revenue asset.
And that is a perspective shift we really need to explore. Whether you are a corporate professional sitting in an office right now, weighing the leap from the 9 to 5 into franchise ownership, or maybe you are an existing business owner looking to diversify your portfolio.
The personal care industry is just booming.
It is a multi-billion-dollar industry, and it is hard to ignore. So today's deep dive is an insider's look into Bodenvy. It's a boutique wellness and aesthetics franchise that is just making serious waves right now.
They really are disrupting the space.
Yeah, they are. And we are going to decode exactly how their business model works, from, the psychology of their consumer engine to the hard math of their unit economics. Okay, let's unpack this.
Well, to really grasp the financial mechanics of a franchise model like this, you cannot just stare at a spreadsheet. It doesn't work that way.
Right. The numbers only tell half the story.
Exactly. You have to start by understanding the consumer's behavior. I mean, you have to isolate exactly what drives someone to walk through those doors, agree to a really high-ticket price, and crucially, commit to a long-term membership.
So let's look at what Bodenvy has actually built to make that happen. They operate these very modern, upscale wellness studios.
Very premium feel.
Yeah. The atmosphere is distinctly boutique. It's a true luxury vibe. And their entire operational focus is on non-surgical body sculpting, permanent fat reduction, and skin tightening. In fact, they are actually the #1 Cool Sculpting Elite provider in the U.S.
Which is a huge credential. I mean, Cool Sculpting Elite is highly recognized in the market. But we need to understand the mechanism behind it first.
Right. What does it actually do?
It relies on a process called cryolipolysis. Basically, fat cells freeze at a higher temperature than surrounding tissue, like your skin or muscle.
Okay, so you can freeze the fat without hurting anything else.
Precisely. The technology applies this targeted cooling to freeze and crystallize those fat cells without damaging the surrounding area. And once they die, the body's lymphatic system just naturally processes and flushes them out.
Got it.
But here is the critical strategic choice Bodenvy makes. Being the #1 provider of that single technology is not actually their business model.
Yeah, I noticed that when looking into them. The core of their strategy is what they call their stacked technology approach.
Exactly, because in the broader aesthetics industry, you frequently see clinics relying on just a single modality. A client comes in for a treatment, they receive it, and they leave.
Like a one-and-done kind of thing.
Right. But human physiology is complex. Bodenvy recognized that achieving a true, visible transformation usually requires addressing multiple biological layers at once.
So they aren't just relying on one machine to do all the heavy lifting.
No, not at all. They stack different advanced technologies in a very specific sequence to compound the results.
Which brings up a lot of specific medical tech, because they aren't just freezing fat, they combine it with things like the emerald laser, cool tone, and soft wave.
It's a very comprehensive lineup.
I want to break these down because understanding the actual science is key to understanding what the customer is buying. So how do these different machines work together?
Well, let's trace the anatomy of a transformation. While cool sculpting freezes and destroys the localized fat, the emerald laser takes a totally different approach. It uses non-thermal, low-level laser light.
Wait, like a cold laser?
Yeah, essentially. This cold laser creates a temporary microscopic pore in the fat cell membrane. So the fatty liquids leak out, the cell shrinks, and again, the lymphatic system carries that waste away.
Okay, so they are attacking the fat from multiple angles simultaneously.
Exactly. But as you know, losing fat often leaves loose skin.
Right, which is where SoftWave comes in, I assume. The literature calls it an FDA-cleared, non-invasive ultrasound treatment for lifting the face and neck. But how does an ultrasound wave actually tighten human skin?
Yeah, so SoftWave uses ultrasound, but definitely not the kind you use to look at a baby.
Obviously not.
It sends high-frequency sound waves deep into the dermal tissue, and it creates these very specific targeted heat zones.
Oh, so it's heating up the tissue underneath.
Right, and that heat basically tricks your body into thinking there's been a microscopic injury. To heal this perceived injury, your body just kicks its natural collagen and elastin production into absolute overdrive.
Wow. Okay. So it forces your body to tighten itself naturally.
Exactly. As that new collagen forms over the next few months, it pulls the skin tighter. And then you add in cool tone, which uses magnetic muscle stimulation to induce involuntary muscle contractions.
Like strengthening the core or glutes underneath the skin?
You got it. So you put all that together, and you have a comprehensive physical overhaul.
That makes me think about traditional medical spas. Like going to a regular spa often feels like sitting down with an a la carte menu at a restaurant.
It really does. It can be super confusing.
Yeah, you are staring at all these individual treatments, a laser here, a freeze there, and you're just trying to guess what combination might actually yield results. It is totally overwhelming for a layperson.
Oh, for sure. Most people have no idea what they actually need.
But Bodenvy sounds more like an all-inclusive resort for body transformation. They package all of this into something they call the 360 Extreme program.
And that 360 Extreme program illustrates their business psychology perfectly. They take the fat reduction, the skin tightening, the muscle sculpting, and then they integrate lymphatic drainage to help flush out those processed fat cells faster.
But they don't even stop there, right?
No, they go a step further and integrate personalized nutrition coaching and actual meals delivered directly to the client's door.
That is wild. It is an end-to-end, totally controlled environment for transformation.
It really is.
But wait, I need to push back on something in their messaging here. They talk about selling guaranteed confidence.
I know, it sounds like a big claim.
It sounds like a massive overpromise, especially in the aesthetics industry where results are notoriously subjective. How can any franchise possibly guarantee confidence?
What's fascinating here is how the bundling of services fundamentally alters the buyer's psychology.
How?
Well, when a consumer is forced to guess if a single treatment will work, their anxiety is high. But when they are handed a comprehensive blueprint that dictates their diet, attacks their fat through multiple modalities, tightens the skin, and tones the muscle beneath it, the perceived likelihood of success just skyrockets.
Because they're covering every possible base.
Exactly. Plus, they cater to all BMIs, so they aren't turning away people at the very beginning of a weight loss journey. By removing the guesswork and controlling all the variables, diet, fat loss, muscle tone, they are selling a highly engineered outcome.
Which naturally leads to much higher ticket sizes per customer.
Oh, the financial impact is profound. The client is no longer price shopping a single 45-minute laser session against the clinic down the street.
Right, they aren't just looking for the cheapest Botox.
No, they are investing in a comprehensive months-long transformation protocol. When you control all those variables, the client actually sees lasting results, and the brand loyalty becomes just ironclad.
That makes a lot of sense. But it's one thing to have clients loving their results and paying high-ticket prices for an all-inclusive program, scaling that boutique experience across multiple locations without losing the magic.
That is the real challenge.
Yeah, that requires a wildly efficient operating system. So let's look at the actual unit economics to see if the math supports the hype for you, the potential franchisee.
Perfect. This is where we transition from the clinical science to the franchise playbook.
Let's run through the capital requirements. If you are looking at this as a potential investor, you're going to see a total investment range sitting between $399,000 and $725,000 to open a Bodenvy location.
Right. Pretty standard range for a premium setup.
And to qualify financially, you need a net worth of $600,000 and a liquid cash requirement of $200,000. I mean, for a retail footprint, a $725,000 top-end investment is a serious chunk of change.
It is a significant capital injection. There's no denying that.
Yeah.
But you have to analyze where those dollars are actually going.
Okay, where are they going?
Well, think about a traditional food service franchise. A massive portion of your build-out goes into grease traps, commercial venting, and highly perishable inventory.
Stuff that doesn't actually generate profit directly, just overhead.
Exactly.
Huh.
But with a premium aesthetics brand like this, a huge portion of that initial capital is front-loaded into medical-grade technology. You're buying the physical machines that are generating the revenue.
Oh, so you're buying assets, not just paying for drywall.
Right. Plus, you are dealing with a smaller square footage than, say, a big box gym, and you have a radically different, much leaner labor model.
Okay, and looking at the ongoing structure, there is a $59,000 initial franchise fee. The recurring fees are a 6% royalty and a 1% ad royalty.
Pretty typical numbers there.
Yeah, and the franchise agreement term is 10 years, and it is renewable.
They also offer veteran discounts, which is great. They started franchising recently in 2021 and currently have 8 U.S. locations, with one being company-owned.
So for a prospective buyer, that 6% royalty is an industry standard, but the question is always what you actually get for it, right? What's the ROI on that 6%?
In an emerging brand like this, that royalty is funding comprehensive staff training on highly complex machinery, a centralized marketing playbook to drive those high-ticket leads we talked about, and exclusive territory so you aren't competing with another franchisee right down the road.
So what does this all mean for the day-to-day operations? If I'm an investor, say a semi-absentee investor who wants to keep their corporate career while building an asset, or maybe a hands-on owner wanting to run the show, how does the revenue actually flow week to week in a model that sells high-ticket transformations?
You are hitting on the most crucial variable for multi-unit growth here.
I try my best.
The answer reveals what I consider the absolute operational engine of this specific model, and that is their membership structure.
Okay, tell me about that. Because most clinics aren't membership-based, right?
No, they aren't. Most aesthetics clinics operate on a purely transactional basis. A client comes in for a session, they pay at the desk, they leave, and the clinic just crosses their fingers and hopes they come back in 8 months.
That sounds like an exhausting way to forecast revenue.
It is terrible for cash flow predictability. But Bodenvy has engineered body sculpting memberships that feature ongoing maintenance-level treatments.
Oh, so they use technologies like their NVRF Plus for ongoing skin tightening and cellulite smoothing, which keeps the client engaged even after that initial major transformation program is complete.
Yes, exactly. Think of traditional aesthetics like a car wash. You pay, you get the service, you drive off.
Yeah.
Bodenvy is operating more like a country club membership.
Okay, I like that analogy.
You are paying for continuous access to a curated standard of living. This shifts the business completely from a transactional, unpredictable model into a predictable, recurring revenue model.
And the power of a predictable floor of revenue on the first of every single month. I mean, that cannot be overstated.
For a semi-absentee owner, predictability is the whole ballgame. Your weekly focus shifts from panicked local marketing to managing KPIs.
Like consultation close rates and membership retention.
Exactly. And once you stabilize one location with a strong base of recurring memberships, forecasting the cash flow to finance your second or third location becomes just a simple math equation rather than a stressful guessing game.
I follow the math, and it sounds great. But a solid financial model and great medical technology still leave a pretty big vulnerability in my eyes.
What's that?
Well, what stops a wealthy local competitor or, a private equity-backed medical group from simply buying the exact same emerald lasers and cool tone machines, dropping them in a clinic across the street, and undercutting you on price? How do you secure that long-term client retention?
That is the million-dollar question. You need a barrier to entry in the customer's mind. The machines themselves are a commodity. The operational ecosystem built around them is the actual moat.
So let's look at how Bodenvy constructs that moat. From what I've seen, it starts with an intense focus on high-tech tracking.
Oh, their data tracking is next level.
Yeah, when a client walks in for a consultation, they don't just step on a standard bathroom scale. Bodenvy utilizes the SECA body comp scan. And this isn't just measuring weight. It is a medical-grade device analyzing intracellular water, skeletal muscle mass, and visceral fat.
Right, it's deep internal metrics.
And then they pair that data with the PhotoFinder HD photo system to capture clinical-grade, high-definition imagery.
And that is so important because in the body sculpting space, consumer skepticism is the biggest hurdle to a sale.
People have been burned before.
Exactly. Clients have tried fad diets, they have bought useless creams, they have been disappointed time and time again. By leading the consultation with medical-grade, hyper-specific data analysis, Bodenvy completely disarms that skepticism.
They can't argue with the numbers.
Right. They establish a baseline of undeniable scientific truth that is customized directly to that individual's physiology.
And they make getting that baseline entirely frictionless. The initial consultations are completely free with zero obligation.
Which gets people in the door.
But converting a free consultation into a high-ticket sale is tough. So to bridge that gap, they offer flexible payment plans, including 0% financing options on qualifying treatments.
Right.
Yeah, they remove the financial friction on the front end and use the objective data on the back end to prove the ROI.
Because that data tracking is the anchor for retention. If a client is 3 months into a membership, they might look in the mirror and struggle to see changes just due to subjective body image issues.
We are all our own worst critics.
Exactly. But you cannot argue with high-definition photographic proof and a CISA scan showing a quantifiable increase in skeletal muscle mass and a measurable decrease in dangerous visceral fat.
The numbers don't lie.
They don't. The data totally justifies the ongoing membership fee.
Here's where it gets really interesting, though. They combine this highly clinical, sterile, medical-grade data with deeply personal, almost small-town hospitality. As we mentioned at the very start of the deep dive, it is standard practice for Bodenvy clients to actually be given the owner's personal cell phone number.
Which is just wild to think about. But this raises an important question. How do you truly build unshakable trust in a sector that is fraught with vulnerability?
Because it is such a sensitive thing.
It is. Clients are walking through those doors dealing with deep-seated body image issues, frustrating stubborn fat, and loose skin. It is an intensely emotional purchase masquerading as a physical one.
And handing over your personal cell phone number, that is an incredible vulnerability from the business owner's side, too. You are inviting the client right into your personal space.
It shatters the corporate clinical wall completely. When you pair undeniable, objective data proving the treatments work on a biological level with a white glove, hyper-personalized level of customer service where the owner is literally a text message away.
You create an environment where the client feels completely supported.
Yes. That is the ultimate competitive moat. A competitor might have the capital to buy the same laser, but they cannot easily systemize or replicate that intense level of personalized care and trust.
Right, you can't just buy empathy off a shelf.
Exactly. And that trust ensures the client keeps their recurring membership active month after month.
It is an incredibly powerful synergy. You leverage the hard science to prove the physical transformation, and you deploy the soft skills to make the client feel valued and safe. For a franchisee, executing on both of those fronts, the technology and the hospitality, seems to be the exact blueprint for capturing market share.
It really is the winning formula here.
Well, let's wrap up our core takeaways for today. We have seen how Bodenvy has positioned itself uniquely in the premium personal care space. They are leveraging cutting-edge, stacked technology so clients receive a holistic, scientifically backed transformation rather than just a single, isolated treatment.
Right.
And for you, the potential franchisee, this translates into a highly lucrative recurring membership model backed by comprehensive franchisor support, specialized training, and exclusive territories. It is a premium opportunity designed to turn a high-demand service into predictable, scalable revenue. Until next time, keep digging deeper.